Government overreach, woke politics, socialist rule. Well, that's how former UN Ambassador Nikki Haley describes the Biden administration.
Haley also warns about the dangerous ideological shift erupting in America. So what does she say is the solution to these threats? Here's Chief Political Analyst David Brody with this exclusive CBN News interview.
To millions of Americans, the United States is becoming unrecognizable. From what's being taught in the classroom to transgender bathroom policies to vaccine mandates, there's a noticeable ideological shift. Former UN Ambassador Nikki Haley tells CBN News it's all a threat to our freedom.
I think they're trying to change the foundation of our government. I think this is creating socialist rule and government overreach. That's what they're trying to do. They want government to tell your kids what they're going to learn. They want government to tell you whether you work or whether you don't. And that's not what we want. That's communist China.
That philosophy bit Democrats in the form of Tuesday's election results in places like Virginia and New Jersey, where voters, especially parents, sent a strong message.
This is not so much what Glenn Youngkin did as what the parents of Virginia did. They said enough is enough, and Glenn tapped into that because they are absolutely tired of the racist politics. They're tired of the woke conversations that are taking place.
That's why Haley spends a lot of time fundraising to help get more candidates like Youngkin elected, especially in next year's midterms.
You're going to see a wave into 22 where people are saying this is not what we said we were in for. And I think we're going to take the country back.
So you believe that the Republicans will win the House in 2022 as we move forward here?
I think we're looking at the Senate too.
But what kind of party will the GOP be? Most polling shows it's still Trump's party. While Haley has called out the former president about events surrounding January 6th, in our interview, she was complimentary, yet forthright.
I had a great working relationship with the president. I supported every policy that he stood for. I think they were the right ones, and we need to double down on it. But I call it like I see it.
Like on January 6th,
when I don't agree with something, I'm going to say it. I don't agree with my husband 100% of the time. I'm not going to agree with somebody else 100% of the time. He's still a friend. He's still someone that I think was a good president.
What if he runs in 2024? How do you feel about that?
I mean, I've said that, if he runs in 2024, I'm not going to run.
While the media chastises Trump over his style, Haley sees it differently. She says it's actually Biden that the country should be concerned about, especially from a mental health perspective.
He keeps giving signals that he's not with it. Yeah. So it's not people hating on Biden. It's Biden really showing the country that he's not totally in charge, and that makes everyone nervous.
She would like to see situations like this addressed head on.
We seriously need to have a conversation that if you're going to have anyone above a certain age in a position of power, whether it's the House, whether it's the Senate, whether it's vice president, whether it's president, you should have some sort of cognitive test. Just like you have to show your tax returns, you should have some sort of health screening so that people have faith in what you're doing. And right now, let's face it, we've got a lot of people in leadership positions that are old. And that's not being disrespectful.
Sure.
That's a fact.
Ultimately, Haley believes it won't be Biden, Trump, or any other politician saving the day in America.
What spiritually needs to happen in this country? Because there's so many people that are despondent. They're frustrated.
To me, sometimes you have to hit rock bottom to know where up is. We have to start looking up. And then we have to start being part of the solution. And that's the way I look at it is, sometimes God sends us these little messages. We have to be smart enough to respond to it.
It's a message Haley plans to keep spreading as she fights to stop what she sees as a frightening march towards socialism. David Brody, CBN News, Washington.
Well, I want to have a little bit of time to talk about this race narrative, and I certainly recognize I'm an old white man, so what am I going to say about the race narrative? So I'm going to quote Winsome Sears. She just won election as the lieutenant governor of Virginia. She is a Black American woman. She is a woman of color. She's also a Republican. She's also a Regent University graduate. And here's what she says. I'm destroying all of the narratives about race. Look at me. I am a heartbeat away from the governorship in case anything happens to the governor. And how are you going to tell me then I'm a victim. I didn't do anything special to get here except stay in school and study. I took advantage of the opportunities that are available here in America. When we look at conservative women of color, Nikki Haley is one of them. Most people don't even consider her that way. When we look at how successful they are as conservatives, it seems to get no play at all in the media. Let's recognize, let's destroy this narrative of race. Let's destroy the politics that wants to divide us on racial grounds, and let's come together. The more we're divided, we have to look at the Bible. A house divided cannot stand. The current division, the current hate that is being promulgated, dividing one race against another for political advantage, it needs to stop. We need to all look at each other and say, how can we form a more perfect union? I've traveled the world. Racism is around the world. You can see it. If you want to see racism, go to China. If you want to see racism, go to India, where the whole caste system is based on the color of your skin. That's what caste means. Varna in Sanskrit means color. It's based on the color of your skin. We've got the best thing going here. We're not perfect. We have a long way to go. But at the same time, we have the best thing going. Let's take advantage of it. Let's work together to build a better America.